People from our team will be in India, the Congo, and Cuba. There are places around the world where taking the gospel is a hostile activity. It's considered to be an encroachment into their world to take love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, gentleness, meekness, and self-control to them. But that's what we plan to do. Now, in some of those places we come in because we're already doing work there that doesn't look and sound like preaching the gospel. It looks like work that needs to be done. As an example, in India, Josh is taking a team to India. They will be serving the local leper clinic. They will be providing food and medicine for those who are lepers because, as Josh has said many times, the reality is if you have to decide between the food that sustains your very life and the medicine that cures a disease that is disfiguring and debilitating, but it's not always life-threatening, most people will choose the food. They'd rather live longer than to be pretty and die sooner than to starve to death. So if you have to choose between food and medicine, then medicine is left aside. What we intend to do and what we have done for years through CrossTalk International and the CrossTalk International Ministry Alliance is to provide food and to provide medicine and to provide training and to provide love for these people in the leper clinic in India. So very soon, Josh will be traveling to India to do that kind of work and taking a team with him. They'll be doing some media capture and things of that nature while they're there, which will later become programs on IBN television. In addition to that, he will also be working with Business for Missions to help people who have micro business ideas, launch those into something that can become financially sustainable for their family. So we need your prayer covering because India is in many ways becoming closed to the Christian gospel. Now, they still love the food, they love the help, they love the attention, they love the direction, as long as it doesn't come with Jesus. So we would appreciate your prayer coverings as we go in to offer help and hope and love and the gospel of Jesus Christ. I'm leaving for the Congo in about 10 days. And that trip to the Congo will be not a missionary trip, not a gospel trip. We're not going to preach the gospel, but we are going to train on leadership. And so there's a team of us, and we're hoping to add in the next 24 hours one more team member. We had one team member who's traveled with us before, unable to attend this time because he's actually receiving quite a prestigious award and job offer simultaneously, and it's scheduled right in the middle of our trip. So he has had to decline the offer to travel with us, and we're looking to bring in a stand-in in his space who's quite a heavy hitter. So pray for that transition to be good, that all of the financial aspects that have already been committed will be rolled over to that person, and so that we can continue to take care of visas and our airline tickets and hotel stays and things of that nature without incurring any additional costs. When we get back from those two trips, India and the Congo, there will be another trip to Cuba where we will be taking training materials, Bible studies, digital files, audio and video files to train missionaries, to train seminary students, and to train everyday people in Cuba about the gospel of Jesus Christ. Now, there are other humanitarian efforts that we'll be doing while we're on the ground there. A team of about 30 of us, we will be scattered throughout the country doing various things. Some will be media related for IBN television, some will be for CrossTalk International Media Alliance, some will be through other outreaches that are already on the ground there, baseball teams and things of that nature. So it promises to be a lot of fun, but again, we're traveling to a foreign land, a place where the gospel is sometimes scrutinized and oftentimes not welcome, depending on who you're dealing with. And so we would love your prayers to cover us in all of those trips. And of course, all of the things that still have to keep running here every day at the station to keep the network on the air, to keep the programs on the air, to keep everything traffic and flowing smoothly. So when you turn on your TV and hit the remote to channel 51.1 here in Dallas, bam, there's your IBN television, and it's seamless. We also know, though, that there are financial needs that being here, plugging away daily, turning the lights on, turning the lights off, turning the AC on, turning the AC off, firing up the computers, replacing hard drives, buying additional hard drives, buying additional media, repairing cameras, updating equipment. Those ongoing costs don't stop just because we're temporarily out of the country, and every one of those ongoing costs requires a little help. If you would like to help, whether it's with any one of our individual ministry trips, any one of our individual, because we travel as missionaries, so a lot of the funding comes out of our own personal pockets. We have to pay our own bills while we're gone. We have to take care of our families while we're gone, and those things are not always covered But even when the plane ticket's covered, somebody still has to pay the electric bill while I'm gone. So anything that you can do to help in that way, you can send me a private message and let me know that you'd like to help, and I'll tell you ways that you can do that. The same thing is true of Josh. If you'd like to help Josh on his trips, let us know, and we'll make a way for you to make the contact to do that. Finally, for favor, because we know whether we're going to the Congo or we're going to India or we're going to Cuba, that God has a way of going ahead of us. He's opening doors for us. He's building relationships for us. He's plugging in the holes where we might fall through the cracks. Just this week, and I hope I'll have a chance to do a live Facebook video with him before he leaves, but Mick Richards is in town. Now, Mick is a guy who's been doing documentary films for decades. He's been doing ministry in media for decades. He's traveled all over the world, literally, and shot footage of mission trips and mission organizations. But he also does a very unique project just for the positive-minded who might say, I don't care about this Jesus thing, but I do have a heart for humanitarian aids. And I don't care about preaching the gospel, but I don't want to see children without shoes or without food. And so working in that mindset, sometimes offering someone a bit of information about what's going on around the world, and then, it just so happens that these people are Christian missionaries, but they're doing the work that needs to be done regardless of what their agenda is. They're feeding the children, they're clothing children, they're putting food on the table, they're putting shoes on their feet, they're giving them clean drinking water, they're helping them with their eyesight. And so Mick has been traveling around the world documenting that kind of activity for a long time. And several months ago, Mick and I had a chance to talk to each other just via conversation on the phone about some documentaries that he had for IBN Television and for KHFT here in Dallas. And in that conversation, God began to spark in him a new idea to continue to use stuff that he had shot, stuff that what most of us would call B-roll. It just landed on the cutting room floor and nobody cared much about it. He said, these are real short projects. They're 5 to 7 minutes long. It's not really a television episode. And so now he's taking a lot of those short episodes and merging them together and creating a longer magazine-style format that has become a brilliant set of programming. And he is here in Dallas this week, traveling around with the family, doing some incredible projects. So I hope to bring him to you here to talk. But when I talk about praying for us to receive favor, Usalga, as we travel into the Congo, and we will be in both Kinshasa and Kisangani, delivering a message of hope through helping them to build and rebuild their democratic government in the communities. The government of the national organization functions as it will, but how do you take democracy down to the city, to the community, to the county, to the province in such a way that it functions as a well-oiled machine as well? And so that's part of what we're there to do. Traveling in those areas, there are some hostile areas between Kinshasa and Kisangani, and so we would appreciate your favor. But the prayer for favor is more about looking at someone like Mick and going, it took that one phone call, and then behind that phone call and a little bit of obedience fell an avalanche of great opportunity. One connection after another just began to pop up like cracks in a stained glass that just webbed out in all directions until it became something fabulous. And if you were to look back 1 year from today and say, hey, Mick, how do you plan to get to where you're going? What's your next step? Who will you contact? Who are you going to call on? What connections do you need to make for this to really be the blow-up success that you want it to be? And I venture to guess that he would say, I really don't have a clue. I don't know who I'm supposed to know that I don't know now. I don't know who I'm supposed to connect with. I don't know what service projects I'm supposed to work on. I don't have a clue. I'm grinding away until something else changes. But the favor of God from that one phone call exploded like a cracked windshield, like a spider web, into new opportunities and new relationships that literally have taken him all over the world with a new vigor and a new opportunity and new support and new open doors. That's what we really pray for. We love the prayer for traveling mercies. We love the prayer that we would be safe, that we would be comfortable, that we wouldn't be stuck in a seat between two screaming babies for the 15-hour flights. We love all that. Thank you for all of that. We love the financial help, whatever you can do, $10, $100, $2,000, whatever you can do toward the cost of the trip and the cost of maintaining our family's sense of balance while we're gone. Anything you can do in those, we appreciate. But the favor of God that allows us to land at the airport in a foreign land with no no receiver. They don't show up in a limo to pick us up and take us around town. We have no idea where we're going next. We're trying to follow the agenda the best that we can and traveling with sometimes one or two of us and sometimes 30 of us and trying to keep together. But it's the favor of God that we covet. It's God's making those connections ahead of us so that when we walk in the door, people go, oh, I knew you were coming. I have a plan. I have an idea. I know where we need to go next. I have all the security details worked out. I have all the lodging details worked out. Your meal is on the table. It's waiting for you, the hot shower, and then your food will be ready when you get there. Those are the kinds of acts of favor where God goes before you and tramples your enemies under his feet and makes them into a footstool so that your life can be more powerful, more successful, so that the work of your hands is multiplied into something greater. That's what we really covet your prayers for. Prayer for favor as we continue to be obedient to God. We don't know what happens next. We have a plan. We have a vision. We have some goals. And then we have all of those shoved up under that Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Let God direct those things. Let God direct your path. Humble yourself in the light of the sight of the Lord, and he will lift you up. Let him make those plans. And so we take our plans and we put them together so that we can have a budget, and then we give them to him and go, we're not going to lean on our understanding. In all our ways, we're going to surrender ourselves and our plans and our thoughts and our vision statements and our strategic vision to you. And then we'll give back the talent you've given us and say, what do you want to do with this? So here we are, and here I am, and I'm asking you, will you pray for the traveling mercies? Will you pray for covering as we leave here, that our families will be protected while we're gone, that there won't be horrendous storms that destroy life and property while we're gone, that while I'm gone over the next 90 days, shortly before I leave, both to the Congo and to Cuba, I have grandchildren coming, 2 of them, a little girl sometime this week, and then I leave on the 13th, and then a little boy sometime in July, and I leave at the end of July for Cuba. And so pray for easy baby deliveries. Pray for family to be happy and healthy, and for everyone to get along and no one to strangle each other through the process of childbirth and in-laws and all that fun stuff that comes along with that. Pray that they would be protected while we're gone, that everyone would be happy and healthy and well covered while we're gone, that our finances would be on an even keel and that things would stay balanced and not be all messed up because we're out of country and waiting on paychecks and that type of stuff. And finally, pray for the favor of God, that he would go before us and make connections for people that we've never met, people we've never talked to, people we know nothing about. But they're waiting for us to arrive. They're waiting for us to appear. You know, there was a time that Peter was told, I want you to go visit this man. And his name is so-and-so, and he lives on the street, and when you knock on the door, he'll know you're coming. And when he got there and knocked on the door, they went, you must be Peter. And he's like, yeah. They said, we knew you were coming. And it was the favor of God, the Holy Spirit going ahead of him, making an introduction for him. That's what we want. We want that in the Congo. We want that in India. We want that in Cuba. We want the peace of God to precede us, the power of God to move through us, and the providence of God to sustain us. Would you pray for those things for us? Drop us a little private message and let us know that you are. And again, if you'd like to help financially, or if you'd just like to commit to prayer, please send us a private message right there on my Facebook page or right there on my private profile, and let me know. We'd love to help. We'd love to pray. How can we pray specifically? Whatever it is that you'd like to be engaged in, we would love your engagement. And once again, thank you just for taking a minute to watch and for being a part of what we're doing to spread the love, the grace, and the peace of Jesus Christ around the globe. I am J. Lauren Norris, and you've been watching Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.